Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YFC Fielder's Choice Premier League Soccer Breakdown. My name is Adam, also known as V12. This is something that we're going to be starting to do a lot more, and weekly, daily content. We want to be able to get you more engaged with a lot of our niche sports outside of our big sports that we do. As you already know, you probably see me on Twitch. We do our big NFL stream at yourfielderschoice.com on Sundays. I highly recommend that you try that out. Of course, we also do our college football stream on Saturdays as well. If you go on yourfielderschoice.com and you actually click, we have our socials on there, our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter. I highly recommend you give us a like and, of course, subscribe to those. But checking out our YouTube channel and also our free Discord. At our YouTube channel, this is where you should be able to find this video. Now, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you click that bell, it'll add that notification on you. So anytime we have anything pop up new, you can be able to check that out immediately. Now, we are recording this a little bit later on Friday evening. And of course, we're going to be covering a Premier League slate that's going to happen on Saturday. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at a couple of different players that we're going to analyze. And there's 3 games tomorrow. They are split as far as the time frame. So you can treat each one of these games as a showdown slate where you can just break each game down and then be able to use that information for that. Or you can use the classic slate on FanDuel or DraftKings where you can look at the Premier League classic slates to where all 3 games will be played. And of course, whenever lineups are released, the starting 11s come out, then obviously if you're in our free Discord, you'll be able to reach out to me, V12, on that free Discord. And of course, we have other coaches there as well. But most importantly, you're going to be able to get help, lineup advice, or whatever you do need. So we're going to jump right into it here. And the first game that we're going to be covering is actually the second game, the Manchester City versus Tottenham game. Now, we do have one of the players that we're going to be highlighting today. A lot that's going on here. Now, the player that we're highlighting isn't in the expected starting 11, but that's okay because the expected starting 11 has a lot to do with what some managers are thinking in regards to the lineup and who they want to put out there. But I did want to highlight Riyad Mahrez here. Now, I do see that you have Kevin De Bruyne, you have Ferran Torres, Raheem Sterling in there, but Riyad Mahrez, I do actually have an expectation that he's going to start tomorrow. He's not listed here, but we're going to cover that. But with Riyad Mahrez, so far in the Premier League, he's actually underperformed. If you looked at him last year, especially with the time frame that Riyad Mahrez was starting, where Kevin De Bruyne was not with the team, he took a majority of the set pieces. That's crosses, free kicks. He's actually quite active around the goal as well. He's one of the best attacking players in the Premier League, but this is one of the best attacking and counter-attacking teams, just the way that Pep Guardiola likes to roll out Man City. And the fact that we're going to be having a slate tomorrow where there's some unknowns for Man City. Is Gabriel Jesus going to play? Is Kevin De Bruyne going to play? Which he should. He's just coming off international duty because we did have the UEFA Nations League up previously. So I'm looking at my screen on here, and you're going to be able to follow my mouse somewhat here. But Kevin De Bruyne is actually centralized right now. If Riyad Mahrez is starting, generally Manchester City like to roll out the 4-3-3 traditional lineup where you're going to have your midfield. Usually Rodri's going to play right around here in the central as a holding midfielder with Gundogan, and it could be a Bernardo Silva or Phil Foden right here on the left side. And then of course Kevin De Bruyne is usually going to play your midfield role on the right side. Now Kevin De Bruyne is obviously always going to be in play as one of the best players in the world. He takes a majority of sets whenever he is in, takes the penalty kicks, but obviously if you're paying up for Kevin De Bruyne, you're expecting a lot. Now, Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling, Ferran Torres, Phil Foden, these are the guys that we're going to have to get right here. I personally prefer Mahrez if he is starting tomorrow, like I do anticipate, and we're going to talk about if he doesn't, but he actually provides so much value for the fact that he has already taken 15 shots, 6 on goal. He has a goal and assist to his names, and these numbers are extremely low. You're getting him at a discounted price tomorrow on both sides, but especially with DraftKings where you get a lot of points based off of your peripheral scoring. And what I mean by that is you're going to get points for crosses in open play on set pieces. They all count as crosses. Shots on goal, shots assisted. These are all things that Manchester City can rack up in regards to actual peripheral stats. Now, this matchup isn't going to be easy. It's not going to be something they're just going to be able to roll in and just have, their way with Tottenham here. Tottenham's been playing very well. Under Jose Mourinho, obviously, they've looked a lot better as they started to get players healthy back, and we kind of want to talk about them. So for the Manchester City side, Kevin De Bruyne, absolute cash lock, set piece guy. So he's somebody that we're really going to look at here. Ferran Torres is another guy that we really love. He's actually discounted quite a bit. If you follow a lot of soccer, especially DFS soccer, you'll notice that he actually is coming off a huge UEFA Nations League game to where he had, I believe, a hat trick. Gabriel Jesus, the Brazilian striker. Obviously, if we don't see Sergio Aguero, which is a possibility that he could start, they're both actually pretty underpriced. Aguero is actually very cheap tomorrow, so he's somebody for GPP you want to look at. But Kyle Walker out here, Joao Cancelo, the fullbacks for Manchester City, they love to bomb forward. So what's going to happen is they're going to start out at that fullback position, and they're going to kind of move into that wing back, left mid, right mid position to where they're going to move up the field. And you're going to see Manchester City play it out to the wings where they can put a lot of crosses in, a lot of low crosses actually, because Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero, Raheem Sterling going to be able to pick those balls out and create good scoring opportunities. So both the fullbacks are in play. Obviously, we don't look at Rodri, Diaz, Laporte. Gundogan's okay. He's a great German player, but he's not really somebody we want to focus on here. Raheem Sterling is actually extremely cheap as well, as the last thing I want to mention for Man City, but mainly because of the matchup and because of the underperforming nature of the team. So looking real quick at Tottenham here, you have Harry Kane leading the line as the striker position. Obviously, if you play DFS soccer or watch any kind of soccer for any point in time, Harry Kane's obviously a name that you're going to be able to follow. He is not as quick as some of the strikers, but he's extremely strong. He's extremely tall. He loves to play with the ball at his feet. He's actually quite agile and has a very good nature of passing and creating chances for his team. So he's not just the guy that's just going to simply just tap in goals, but he has kind of gotten that moniker over the last season or two, but I feel like he's kind of breaking out of that. So looking at this team, Heung-min Son, obviously an elite play, extremely expensive on both sides just because of his recency bias with his performance. Lucas Moura, the Brazilian on the right-hand side. This is generally the Jose Mourinho lineup, the 4-2-3-1, which is very similar to what we see over here for Man City. But I expect Man City to be more of a 4-3-3 with Tottenham sticking to this. I do want to mention Tanguy and Ndombele here. The Frenchman was purchased for the record signing for Tottenham whenever they brought him over. He wasn't played a lot over whenever Pochettino was there, but Jose Mourinho just taken a liking to him. He's actually kind of tested him quite a bit and really pushed him. So Ndombele comes in at $3K on DraftKings, which is an actually extreme value play to be able to fit in some of these higher salary players. So somebody like Ndombele is going to be able to make some of our lineups here. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Musa Sissoko, my apologies, both holding midfielders, nothing too fancy for them there. Serge Aurier and Sergio Reguilon, I like both of those guys here, but I do worry a little bit about Tottenham whenever Manchester City is going to continue to press them and counterattack them, that they're not going to be able to push forward with their fullbacks like they normally like to do here. So expect a lot to happen in the middle of the field. I do expect Manchester City to gain a lot of possession here, but can score. They can score a lot. And so I do feel that in this game, you're going to probably have quite a few players that are going to be interloping with the best overall lineups of the day. So my prediction here right now, I'm looking at a Manchester City victory. It's going to be close. I do expect both teams to score, but I expect 2-1 to be the final score here. I want to turn over to the next game we do have, which is actually the earlier game. It's going to be the Aston Villa versus Brighton Hove Albion. So with this game here, we do have someone we want to focus on here. That's going to be Ross Barkley. Now, if you followed me at any point of time on our DFS soccer channel or any of the DFS soccer content that we have, I'm a huge Chelsea fan. Ross Barkley is on loan to Aston Villa from Chelsea. He's one of the players that I personally, have really looked into and said, man, is this guy the player that we had and we kind of let him go here to this team to be loaned out and he's just exploding? I think Ross Barkley has always had the talent. He's actually put it together quite well here. He's taken over set pieces, which is your corner kicks, your free kicks, and a lot of the play creation duty from Connor Hourihane, who's actually not currently listed in the starting 11. He's kind of someone that we're going to see more off the bench now. I know John McGinn, Jack Grealish have all taken set piece duty here in the past. Even Matt Target has taken some, corners here and there. But Ross Barkley is absolutely in control of this midfield, this attacking midfield. And this formation puts him in a position to where he can play off Jack Grealish, Ollie Watkins, and Trezeguet out there on the wing. And all of these players up front, the one thing I will say about Aston Villa is they love to attack now. They look reinvigorated this season. They have absolutely been pressing hard. Ollie Watkins, has been on a nice goal scoring tear. Ross Barkley, as you can see on the screen, he has 2 goals, 1 assist, 18 shots, 6 on goal this year. I expect him to make the score sheet, be a goal or assist tomorrow. He's going to be a core play for me on cash games on DraftKings. And in FanDuel, I do lean a little bit more towards Ollie Watkins here. I like him just for the sake of it. He's going to get plenty of shots and opportunities. He doesn't come off the field. He plays 90 minutes. He's a young, hungry striker. Came over from Brentford during the transfer window in the summer, and Aston Villa have been using him where they've needed a striker. They've got one, and he's a good one. So I love Ollie Watkins. He's a GOAT in my book from the EFL Championship days. Now, looking at this team, Jack Grealish obviously is a superstar. If not in the making, he's already there. One of the best English players. He actually started with the national team recently in the UEFA's Nations League. Just had an excellent game. He's just a great player all around. Great with the ball at his feet, plays outside, and that's one thing I wanted to mention. So if you're looking at the outside of the field, this attacking third, but more importantly, guys that are going to play on the outside of the pitch, even on this team, on this side for Brighton as well, those are the ones that we're going to attack more in regards to we want to play them in DFS soccer, because when you're wide, you can create more by crossing, playing more towards in the middle, shots assisted. There's more room to move outside, where your midfield is generally gets congested. So players like right here, Ben White, Yves Bissouma, John McGinn, and Douglas Luiz tend to be holding midfielders, meaning they're not going to be moving the ball a lot up to attack. Rather, they're going to be controlling the pitch from that point. Now, from Aston Villa, I love Matthew Targett, Matty Cash are both excellent cash plays. Actually, reduced price from what I'm used to seeing from them. Trezeguet is a great GPP play. He's attack-minded, and he may not play full 90 minutes, but he's going to be out there. I love Ollie Watkins, as mentioned before, on both sides. And, of course, Jack Grealish is a great spend-up option. For Brighton over here, I'm not as intrigued, but they do have some decent players. Tariq Lamptey, former Chelsea player, extremely fast, playing this wing-back position. You notice Brighton has this back three here. Those guys are going to be central defenders. They're not going to do a lot other than hold this line, while Solly Marsh, Tariq Lamptey actually press forward. Adam Lallana here, Neil Maupay, attacking-minded players, Danny Welbeck as well. Attack-minded players. So, I mean, I'm not too interested here. I do think this is just one of those things where we have to, look at this game and say, okay, we want to get plenty of pieces from Aston Villa. Ross Barkley is a core play of mine. And even, Mings and Konza, they're not bad pay down options. My favorite, defensive player from Aston Villa is actually Emiliano Martinez, formerly of Arsenal, came over to Aston Villa. They got a steal from this guy. He's a better keeper than Leno that they have over there currently as Arsenal as a starter. I think they got a steal. But Emiliano Martinez is excellent. I'm not big on touting goalies, but he's one of my favorites to actually play. So down here, the last game I want to talk about here is going to be the Manchester United versus West Brom game. Now, Manchester United comes in as one of the biggest favorites on the slate. West Brom's been terrible. Manchester United's been kind of a mess. So the issue here is that we have a Manchester United team that's underperformed. They're underpriced for the most part. And you have West Brom coming in as a bottom-of-the-barrel team that's looked bound for relegation. However, they have some good fantasy-friendly players for DFS. I do want to talk about Bruno Fernandes. Now, if you've watched me, read me, whatever, you know that I love Bruno Fernandes. He's absolutely changed the Manchester United landscape for the future, coming over from, from the La Liga and from Europe and a different part to where he came into Manchester United, and he a creation, an attack element that they lacked, because they didn't really have a dominant set piece taker, somebody that controlled the middle of the field, hold the ball, play Rashford and play Martial. And so Bruno Fernandes is actually going to be my focal point, for this team. He's worth the pay up, in my opinion, just based off of the odds of this game. We do have the anticipation that Alex Telles is going to start out here at the left back position. He's the highest priced defender on the slate, and he is definitely in play here. He came over, from FC Porto. He's an absolutely fantastic fullback, wingback, whatever you want to call him. He's going to press forward. I do worry a little bit about it being his first game. Maybe he's going to get some ownership, maybe not. But I think I'm going to just temper my expectations there, use my salary more on guys like Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne, or Riyad Mahrez. We talked about Grealish and Ross Barkley as well. But the pieces that do intrigue me here, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Telles, the fullbacks are always in play for Manchester United. Out of these two holding midfielders, I prefer Fred. He's a little bit more creative minded in the attack. Scott McTominay is simply just a holding midfielder. He will launch a couple of shots here and there. But Rashford, Martial, if they're starting, Martial, I would be surprised if he's starting because he's kind of coming off of injury, whatnot. Came off the bench for the France national team and played a little bit there. But if he starts, I don't think he's going to play the full game, but he's absolutely in play here due to goal odds, just game odds, period. And Juan Mata out there on the right wing is always underpriced on most slates. He's actually a very good cash play. I wouldn't put him as GPP. My favorite GPP for this team would be Anthony Martial, obviously, but Marcus Rashford, I see no reason why you can't try to fit him in if possible. There's a lot of good players on this slate. It's only 3 games, but this is a game that we want to attack. Finally, for West Brom here, Matthias Pereira is going to be your set piece taker. He's going to control things from the midfield here as much as he can. I do anticipate Manchester United is going to be holding a ton of possession tomorrow, so I'm going to be very limited in my exposure here. 3 pieces that I like for West Brom are Matthias Pereira. I like Mr. Furlong out here at the right wingback position, and of course Connor Townsend at left wingback here. So looking at this team, I mean, Alan Grant is a GPP option. We have, let's see, Gallagher is decent as cheap cash play. I'm not really interested too much here, guys. But like I said, this is a basic breakdown of the EPL slate. It's 3 games. We anticipate doing more content like this to help you get better at DFS soccer. It's one of those niche sports that we absolutely love to create an edge in. So I want to thank YFC. I want to thank my producer, Mickey, for, putting together this content for you. Obviously, we have this slate starting tomorrow, around 12 hours from my time now to when we're going to start tomorrow. We'll have some content out on the website as well. But thank you so much for joining us for this soccer take, and I hope to be able to help you guys tomorrow win a ton of money. We have a lot of sports going on DFS Saturday. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, and enjoy your DFS soccer sweats, guys.